Welcome everybody, wie is de GeekBench Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra that will cost you right now something like €1,000 and Samsung Galaxy A53 5G that will cost you something like €300. This comparison video will help us understand if this phone here is 3 times lesser the phone, and of course the vice versa, if this phone here is 3 times the phone that is the A53. Of course I need to start with some boring specification. If you want to skip that one, you can go a bit further where I'm gonna do home screen animations, notification animations. I'm gonna test also the blur animations from both phones, of course also the recent menu animation, the up drawer, and then some famous apps like the Twitter scrolling, Chrome scrolling, gallery animations, yeah, some benchmarks, battery life, and then of course I'm going to do a video outro and maybe also some camera samples. And I know it's a bit absurd because the S22 Ultra is the top flagship phone from Samsung. The A53 5G is probably one of the top mid-tier spec phone. So I know overall they're absolutely not comparable. The question I want to ask in the beginning of this video, if this phone here on my left hand side is really 3 times the phone on my right hand side, and if the phone on my right hand side is really 3 times lesser the phone that I have on my left hand side. If you like content like this, don't forget to subscribe. There are bonuses if you do subscribe, like new videos very often. And let's start. So first thing of course is the display, because this is really what we use to interact. On my left hand side we have a 6.inch display that of course has the WQHD resolution, which is 3088 by 1440 pixel. So it does have 501 pixel per inch. On my right hand side I do have a bit of a smaller display, still very big at 6.5 inches. We do also have an FHD plus resolution, which is 2400 by 1080p and only 405 ppi. This here is a dynamic AMOLED. This is really like the best screen that you can get in a phone, and this is period. This here though is Super AMOLED, which is also actually super. Both phones run with the 120 Hz refresh rate, although of course the S22 Ultra uses the LPTO design, which allows the phone to scale down only to 1 Hz, which actually we never seen, but okay, those are the rumors, so it can go 10 Hz and 1 Hz to save battery. This phone cannot do so. Screen to body ratio here almost 90%, 89.72. Here we have 85%. And guys, probably the biggest difference in terms of the display is almost 1800 nits peak brightness. Here we have only 800. So again, yeah, this is really as bright as you can go. The S22 Ultra has HDR support, scratch resistance, it has the Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, it has all the nice things like the light sensor, the proximity, which you also have here, but you do have here only Corning Gorilla Glass 5 and not the Victus Plus. So this is in terms of the display. Now my Ultra runs with the Samsung Exynos 2200, which can go up to 2800 MHz. Here we have Samsung Exynos 1280 that can do 2400. The architecture is different here. We have 4 cores running at 180, 3 cores at 250, and 1 that can do 280. Here we have 6 cores at 2 and 2 cores at 2.4. 4 nanometers is here the technology used to create the SoC, the system on a chip. Here we do have only 5 nanometers. We have the famous Samsung Eclipse 920, which is also co-created with AMD, and that's a whole other story. Here we have a Mali G68. The GPU clock on my left hand side is 1300, and here we do have only 1000. And with that said guys, memory type here LPDDR5 and 12 GB. This is the real Ultra versions. Here we have 6 and 8. This I think is with 6. LPDDR4, and again it's just different storage. Very important guys, here 256 UFS 3.1, but no micro SD card. Here we have micro SD card, UFS 2.2, so of course the storage here is a bit quicker. And with that said guys, I want to turn those phones around so that you can just see both phones share the same DNA. We have the Samsung logo there, we have the 3 cameras, the laser autofocus and the zoom cameras. Here of course is a different setup, we have the flash and etc, but it pretty much looks kind of similar. And I need to put some importance on the design. This is why I'm gonna show the phones like this. Here we have the all aluminum frame, and this is the white S22 Ultra, really with the silver frame, and it does really look stunning. All right, so this one here is a bit more plastic because yes, it's plastic, right? We do have the same configuration. As you can see on the side, we have the volume rocker, we have the power off button, and here guys on this side we don't have anything. So luckily no more Bixby buttons. And with that said guys, I think one elephant in the room needs to be addressed. So you can just see here the screen of the S22 Ultra is really curved, and it's really very immersive with very small, almost non-existing bezels. You can just see here guys, we have of course the camera cutout for the front camera like in this case here, but take a look at this huge bezel. But also there are some benefits because this screen here is absolutely flat, right? And I know there are people that do prefer flat screens over curved screens. I would say yes, they have some benefits when you navigate with fingers and etc. But overall guys, the front design is very different. It is very boxy. It's a very big phone with almost non-existing bezels. Here of course, although we have the cheaper version of a mid-tier phone, which I would say like the flagship of the mid-tier, we have here brighter bezels, and probably most seen here on the narrow bezel and the top bezel. But overall guys, both phones pretty much share the same DNA. So this is really the best that you can get from Samsung in their different segments. And with that said guys, I want to start my testing. First test is gonna be the home screen animations. I always do this on my phones, so it's a very simple test. What do I do guys? I just hold my finger like this and try to get access to the menu. All right, see here, my Ultra, okay, a bit laggy. Very weird, by the way. My Ultra has more applications and it lags. The A53 absolutely killing it. Really working like an iPhone, man, absolutely crazy. I don't know why. I have a problem with these gestures on my S phones. It was the same on the S21 Ultra and it's still the same on the S22. But of course, I'm gonna do this one more time to remove any doubts. By the way, guys, I did not kill any of my applications. As you can just see, I have plenty of them, all right? So doing this one more time here, right, and here. One more time, okay? By the way, both phones do run with the latest version of One UI that is available from them. Here I do have another update, the August update that still has to be installed. So this is really not the very latest update, but I'm running already on July firmware, so it should be pretty much the same. Okay, one more time just for the sake of doing it. And see here guys, this is absolutely crazy. This phone costs 300 euro and somehow it doesn't really lag when I'm performing this animation, and it pretty much lags on my S22 Ultra. It is now time to check the notification animations, which I'm gonna do like this. So one swipe here, one swipe there. Absolutely flawless on both of my phones, as you can just see, not a problem at all. It's absolutely flawless. Now guys, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go and access my quick settings. So as I am already on my notifications, I'm gonna do one more time like this, and okay, yep. And also trying to browse, very smooth experience on both the S22 Ultra and also on the A53 5G. You can just see that I'm using about the same brightness settings. Now let's check the blur animations. So how are we gonna do this? Just enter the Google folder and experience how the wallpaper just gets sucked in on the background, of course with a blur. This is something that I do like very much from One UI. And again guys, you can not look at both phones and not see that they really share the same DNA, almost the same of course. Yeah, it's just Samsung, it's One UI, and everything of course here is very uniform. Now it's time to check the lock screen. All right, I'm going to power off both phones. One click will show me the always on display, exact the same time. Another click will just go to the lock screen, where we're gonna have the chance to experience the very beautiful Samsung stock animation. And you pretty much see the same things here guys. Everything screams we are brothers, sisters, same family. All right, if I just do like this, I'm gonna have access to my dynamic lock screen. If I do this on this phone, I'm going to pretty much still see the same. Let me show what happens when I try to access the phones. The fingerprint here is an optical one. Here, of course, we do have the ultrasonic, which is of course the more premium. It does really work better in the dark and probably also more faster and more secure. Now it's time to check the recents menu. How do we do this? I also, by the way, enable here this hint so I can do this quickly. Now just do like this and I'm inside my recents menu on both phones. Everything flawless, guys. I really right now don't have the feeling that this phone is superior to this phone. It's just a bit bigger. Of course, we all know that's you know, a lie, it's sugar coated, because this is the more premium phone. But right now in this type of scenarios as a daily usage, we pretty much experience the same things. Just to be sure, I'm also going to try to change the applications with using here this bar, and we just see the very same behavior. It is all very, very smooth on both phones. Now let's go to the left and check the Google Discover. Very, very much the same experience. Trying to browse it right away, and you can just see, guys, both phones do not disappoint. Now it's time to check the app drawer. How do we do that? Very easy. Just one swipe up and we're inside the app drawer, and navigation here is also very pleasant, very easy in both of those phones. If we want to try to search for something, we're going to hit the search, boom. Search menu is the same. You are getting almost the same experience, guys. And with that said, now let's just try to find the Chrome browser and also check Chrome scrolling. So I'm just going to open Chrome on those both phones, and we are going to open, let's say, a website we never opened. What should it be this time? Probably going to be the BBC. So let's just search for BBC. Okay. And searching. All right. Google BBC Home, BBC Home. I'm just gonna open BBC Home on both phones. Of course, the S22 Ultra is loading it a bit quicker. That's, I think, understood. So let's just try to agree here on the cookies. Who doesn't love cookies, right? Not myself. And just let's try to scroll. Now, what do we see, guys? Again, the performance really in a day-to-day really usage is pretty much the same, guys. I really cannot tell you anything else. From what we see on the screen, for a daily usage, you will pretty much have a very similar experience. So if I have to go back to my original question, and this was, is this phone 3 times more the phone than this is? Or is this phone 3 times less of the phone than this is? My answer will be definitely not. Now, of course, guys, there is a valid reason why this phone costs so much. Here we do have 3x optical zoom and 10x optical zoom. We do have here also a different camera sensor, and the whole camera setup from the S22 Ultra is really different. But this doesn't really mean that you're not able to score some very nice pics when using the A53 and videos. And if you keep watching, guys, I will demonstrate this. Speaking about camera, let's try to do one of my other favorite tests, and this is camera opening, camera closing. You will want to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Well, the reason is Samsung has a bit of a history for not providing a very smooth animation when you open the camera. Okay, I think this was definitely the quicker one. So opening, closing, one more time, opening. Yep, here you can just see very clearly that the S22 Ultra has a lead. So opening the camera is pretty much smooth on both phones. It took really a lot of updates for Samsung to really make it that way. Opening the camera, all right, going to video. Okay, see here, this phone is really quicker. So photo, okay, portrait, right, photo one more time. Okay, let's go to video. All right, almost the same. The A53 can do max UHD at 30 FPS. This is why I have set my S22 Ultra also to UHD 30 FPS, and I'm now proudly showing you my beautiful cat Zahra. And then, guys, you will let me know down below in the comments, what do you think? Is the video quality from the A53 okay? Is it bad? Do you think, Final Cut, do you think that the video quality from the Ultra is actually 3 times better than from the A53, or you think then you can live with this. And of course, then also guys, I'm just showing you some beautiful mess around. This happens when you have two small kids and they happen to be boys, but then of course what they have left behind is really very nice for a test. I'm gonna go close again to my cat, guys. Don't forget that the S22 Ultra has an optical image stabilization. You can just see the A53 has only electronic image stabilization, but from what I see, guys, it is not so bad at all. I'm gonna do a simulation of running just to see what will happen and how much the video quality will differ. And now very quickly go again to my cat. Hey, Zahra, how are you? Say hello to the camera. And with that, it's time to conclude the video test and do some beautiful pictures.
Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when the world felt small.
Now let's speak about benchmarks, and of course, why not open one of the most loved benchmarks by Samsung users, and this is the so-called GeekBench. And this is a joke, guys, of course, because we know that GeekBench really banned Samsung. So if I click here, guys, and we go to history, I'm gonna be a bit of embarrassed because I get some bad results most of the time. But I do get also above 1000 on the single core score and 3000 and something on the multi-core score. It's pretty much the same, I would say, which is a bit weird, but you can just see, guys, when I'm getting really low scores on my S22 Ultra, I even get below this. So there are some cases where I got 600 on my single core score and the A53 is able to do 733. But okay, this was really on my bad days. So usually you'll get more than 1100 on the single core when using Exynos 2200 and around 800 when you're using the Samsung Galaxy A53 running with the Exynos 1280, so 1280. The multi-core score, I think, is clear. And guys, I mean, just don't get me wrong, benchmarks are not telling you always the truth. Now, what I want to run is a benchmark and test the storage. So let's see how this will play out. And for this, I'm using the cross-platform tool, because remember, here we do have the UFS 3.1 and here we have the UFS 2.2, so we should see clearly a difference. And let's start this one here. Sequential write, you can just see really the S22 Ultra again. UFS 3.1 is really quicker. Here you can just see the speed are almost like 100% lower, and it's just taking a bit more time for the phone to complete the test. The sequential write is absolutely killing it on the S22 Ultra. This phone takes even more time to just purge the memory, but then the performance is not really so far away when we do have the sequential read. And at the end, guys, probably the most important, which is the random write. So the random write here, 27 megabytes in second. The random write here, 20 megabytes. Again, guys, it is not always 3 times lesser, which is a bit weird, right? Because again, I want to remind you that this phone costs 1000 euro. This phone costs something like 300 euro, right? But again, guys, don't get me wrong. If we see the memory copy, we almost achieved 10 GBs, here is 3. So I think that probably at the end of the day, this test, we pretty much see 3 times more performance here in the cross-platform, and of course not in the GeekBench. I do also have a game for you guys, the Alto Odyseey, which I'm gonna start just for the sake of having fun and see, hopefully, that the S22 Ultra is able to run it quicker. And I think that's obvious, right? But is it 3 times quicker? Well, yeah, not really, right? Because we can just see that the A53 is almost able to run the game at the exact same time. And speaking about games, we do also need to check the sound. So I have a very nice tune that I will use to demonstrate the sound quality. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here we are at the maximum. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, guys, I'm gonna run the same track, Go by Netflix.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go.
Now only the Ultra is playing at maximum. Now the A53 is gonna play. And now the S22 Ultra again. This phone here has the better sound, it's more balanced, we have better highs, but overall guys, I would not really say that the A53 has a better sound. The sound quality is loud, the bass is okay, and again guys, if you ask me if the sound of the S22 Ultra is 3 times better, well, I'm not sure. Stereo speakers here, stereo speakers there, so yeah, probably it's better, but not 3 times. Another benchmark I'd like to run is the 3D Mark. So without any further ado guys, I'm just gonna run the Wildlife Extreme and just leave it for your viewing pleasure. Alright, here we have the S22 Ultra, which is running UFS 3.1, and it pretty much should be the quicker phone. Of course, that's true. The test starts first. Frames per second like 10 and almost 9, 10, 9. Here guys, clearly we can see frames per second not more than 4. Alright, so here we have, okay, now we have 4. I am correcting myself. 4, here we have 10. I'm gonna wait until the end of the test so that we are able to compare the average frame rate per second. But I think it's clear from this test that of course the S22 Ultra is the quicker phone. So if you're in for mobile gaming, then the S22 Ultra of course will give you better results, but that doesn't really mean that you cannot game on the A53. Probably not Genshin Impact, probably not the most graphic heavy intense games, but still the A53 will get you going. Alright guys, the overall score here is 1140, here is 6030, the average frame rate is 3.8, and here is 6.9 guys, so it's even not 3 times better. But this is what it is, and again, don't really take benchmarks for granted. They are very nice, they can be sort of an indication, but don't forget that real life experience is different from the benchmark lives. Guys, please let me know down below in the comments, what do you think? Really, is this phone really 3 times worse than this phone? Or is this phone 3 times better than this phone? And I will let you know right now what I do think. So first, I don't think that we should compare those phones, but I was very eager to understand what kind of similarities they share. And actually, how bad they are or how good they are at doing this or that. And I do believe that I have achieved this. I really hope that you have the same feeling. If that's the case, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Here guys, you're gonna find also the bell icon, notify always for a new video. And with that said guys, I really hope that you're having fun the same way I had fun. Don't forget to subscribe, check my other videos, and come next week for more, because I'm gonna be testing the August firmware for the S22 Ultra. VST over and bye.
Way back before we blew it all. Take me back to a place where I felt at home. Take me back to a day when we weren't alone. Take me back to an age when